Hey you guys, it's Amy Vanderlinden here at Moment of Truth Physical Therapy, and today we're going to be going over 5 of the most common exercises and movements that we give clients to help with back pain during pregnancy. So obviously it's a long process. Women are pregnant for 40 weeks typically. And so even though during that first trimester you might not even be showing, there's a lot happening with your hormones. Unfortunately, we're often nauseous and vomiting. And women, it's really common to experience back pain even early in that first trimester. Then of course, as the body grows and baby grows, things shift and that center of gravity shifts, your posture's different, the relaxin hormones get another surge in that third trimester. And so as things are loosening up and shifting, back pain worsens often at the end of pregnancy. And so these are tips you can use throughout your entire pregnancy. They're safe. Even in that third trimester, most women are comfortable and completely safe to lay on your back for several minutes, which is all that this would typically take. We'll also go over some modifications for you a bit later on as we get into the exercises. We just want to give you some practical ways that you can help balance needing to move our bodies. Those joints want lubrication. Those joints want to be able to move well. And so as things compensate and shift with all of that going on, we want to give you some of those tips to move safely, but also to build some stability in there so that the body feels a bit more together, like it can move well, and some of those things. So let's go ahead and get started. Very grateful that today we have our student Katie here with us to help demonstrate these exercises. For the sake of authenticity, I want to make sure and note that Katie is not in fact pregnant. Although in your first trimester you could very easily look like you're not pregnant, which is frustrating to some women, especially when they start having pain and discomfort and all those things are shifting and no one can even tell anything's going on. So Katie's going to help us demonstrate these exercises today. So I'd love to have you start on your back, lying down just like Katie is. Knees bent usually helps take pressure off of the low back to start with. And this is going to be a big shocker, you guys. Are you ready? We're going to start with breathing. Who knew? We talk about that all the time, right? So just really good belly breathing of inhaling fully, exhaling, fully relaxing. Fully relaxing is just as important as being strong and being able to contract well. So we really emphasize that deep belly inhale because that's the point at which we want you relaxing all the way, no matter what movement or exercise you're going into. And some of these things you'll be able to carry over into lifting that case of water or a big bag of dog food or picking up your toddler. So breathing well is critical and it's always our foundation. So we call it filling and emptying breath here. We have videos specifically on that, but just that nice deep belly breathing of inhale and exhale. Always go at your own pace, even if you're listening to me speak as you're doing some of these exercises the first few times. Just go at your own pace. You can catch back up with me. So next I'm gonna have Katie add just a basic cat-cow, but in lying down, obviously. So she's doing a bit of a tilt back and then a bit of an arch forward. And the way that timing goes with your breath is an inhale as you arch. So go ahead and inhale with your arch, you get in your own sync. Perfect. Exhale as you drop back. Perfect. Keep going for a few more. So we want those joints to move and that lubrication to feel really nice to the body. And so if it's achy at first, that's okay. If the pain increases or you feel any kind of sharp pain, I want you to stop. We should not have pain with basic movement. Your range of motion might look different than this as well, so don't worry too much about that, especially depending on how far along in pregnancy, what the normal curve of your spine happens to be. Don't worry too much about that. Katie's obviously making sure to use as full a range of motion as she has so that you can see what's going on. So next we're going to add a side to side motion. So very similar with just breathing. Yep, so you'll see she's shortening here as she raises her hip and then come back to neutral, raise on this side, come back to neutral, raise on this side. So again, just making sure you should always be able to keep breathing nice and fully as you're doing these movements, avoiding sharp pain. So now that we've worked on some of our breathing, range of motion of the sacrum, getting that loosened up a little bit, we want that, again, that mobility to feel really nice and symmetrical. So you can always do a few extra reps if there's a side that you notice is tighter or a little more achy. Next, we're gonna show you what bridges are like. Obviously, a little bit of an anatomy lesson here. What is the big, huge muscles that connect to the sacrum and the hips? Our glutes, so I should have quizzed you. So we're gonna use those to just create a little bit of stability. Again, the body feeling both those sides working together. So again, sync with our breath. We've got the nice filling breath. Everything's relaxed. We're gonna just lift up using that tushy. Excellent. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way up. Keep going, Katie, that's great. So obviously our glutes activate the second we start to move. So if for some reason going to this height is uncomfortable, it's completely fine. Show them one that's only a few inches up. It's fine to just lift and come back down. The height is not what's important here. And I want you to just move until you start to feel a little bit of muscle fatigue. So again, a little bit of an ache. Those hormones and the relaxin are going through our body. Things sometimes feel a little shifty. That's the whole point of this, right? So if you feel a little ache on that first one, don't be too concerned. It should lessen as you go and start to feel more together and less painful. If for any reason that ache or pain increases again, I want you to stop. But you can alter the range of motion, that's no problem at all. We just want these muscles to turn on, to engage, to feel like the body's working together. So that's perfect for bridges. Next, we're gonna go ahead and onto our hands and knees. So I'm gonna use this opportunity to talk about that movement too. A lot of times we can get torque and pressure as baby's growing in pelvis and some of that separation feeling and gap feeling. So the best way to avoid that is to keep the knees together. Go ahead and roll onto your side, Katie. We go over this more in our video about pubic symphysis pain, and then go on, prop yourself up on your elbow and then onto all fours. So now we've got hands stacked under shoulders, knees stacked under hips. Obviously, depending again how far along you are and how large your belly is gotten, put your knees wherever they feel comfortable right under your hips. So Katie's fine for her, but if yours need to be a little bit wider apart, that's completely great too. So we're gonna do similar motions, but now we're using gravity to our advantage. Go ahead and let that belly hang. We're just gonna inhale, let the belly hang. It decompresses and moves baby off of the spine, which can feel really nice. And then go ahead as you exhale, you're just arching nice and gently, getting that stretch and round throughout the back. Again, go ahead and a few more, Katie, just keep that motion going. Just like when we're on the floor, you use whatever motion feels good to you. If getting on the floor is not gonna work for you, you can absolutely do this sitting in a chair and just rocking forward, rocking back. We just want that same exhale as we round, inhale as we arch. So that's perfect for cat-cow. Same thing again, we're just working this mobility through the spine, helping all those joints to move well. The sacrum where it meets the spine, joints to the pelvis, we want that to move well and symmetrically. So we're gonna do that same wag the dog motion, good. Crunching on this side, come back to neutral, crunching on this side. Excellent, come back to neutral. So Katie's obviously already in neutral spine this way. Make sure as you finish that cat-cow that you're in your neutral spine. And then she's just wagging a little bit side to side, that's perfect. Do one more on each side. Excellent. So you've got your breathing and things are moving a little bit better. Obviously, as baby grows, one of the main complaints we hear from women is back pain from their core and their abs feeling so weak. And as baby grows, those are going to get stretched out and changed, but you can still connect with those muscles. You can still safely activate those muscles. So it'll be a little bit more challenging to see on Katie since she's not indeed pregnant, but you guys will totally get this. So same breathing, you're inhaling, everything's relaxed. This time on your exhale, you're gonna imagine pulling baby towards the spine or your ab muscles down towards your back. So it's like a bit of a crunch, but you're obviously not lifting your head and shoulders. So an inhale and relaxing again, exhaling, drawing that in. So it's like this is coming together. Baby would be dropping down a little bit. And again, you're just gonna connect to those abs, can really help the back feel more supported. Because again, you can translate this into sitting and standing, as well as use it during any activities where you're picking something up or bending over. So this will be very, very useful, but we want you to be able to get the foundation of it in a relaxed situation in a pain-free range of motion. So that's key here. You're inhaling, exhaling, adding that crunch. You can even add that engagement of the pelvic floor. The abs and the pelvic floor work together. They should be buddies. So you're inhaling, everything's relaxed all the way down to that perineum. Exhale, imagine you're just slightly lifting that pelvic floor as the core drops down. It's like that connection. We're inhaling, the balloon fills, everything's relaxed. Exhaling, drawing the ab muscles down and the pelvic floor to connect. So the last movement we have to go over with you guys today in our 5 tips is child's pose. So if Katie, you just go ahead and sit back on your heels for us. Perfect. She's lowering down. This is a pretty traditional child's pose that we often do in yoga. As belly grows, you can easily move your knees apart, raise back up a little bit and just show, make space for belly. There's gonna be absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Make the space that you need. Get a nice stretch along the shoulders, mid back, low back, and of course across that pelvis again. If your knees bother you, absolutely great to place a pillow there and lower down. Just gives a little extra support there. Perfect, come on up, Katie. Another way you can use a pillow, go ahead and sit back on the heels. You can place a pillow in front of you just for a little extra support. You're not quite as angled, not quite as low. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So we understand it might not be feasible for everybody to get down on the floor. We want to try to accommodate for as many situations and ways that you might be feeling throughout your pregnancy. You can use something like the wedge or multiple pillows propped up. Sometimes women during pregnancy, again, all that pressure is building up. You're having a little bit of reflux or just pressure if you lay down flat. By all means, prop a few pillows. You can still do all of the breathing, mobility things we went through, even bridges from this position. If getting on the floor is not going to work for you, you can sit in a chair and do the same tilts, same breathing. Obviously not bridges, but we can even work on sit to stands from the chair. But breathing, you can still do the same side to side shifts or on a big therapy ball. Some of you might have one of those larger yoga balls that you can sit on. Those are great tools for that as well. And then for child's pose, you can do that seated and either walk your arms out for that stretch on a table, or again, using a chair near a bed, reaching out. Again, we just want to get that stretch down. We're just trying to keep the body moving well throughout pregnancy, keep some of that tension out of your system. So we hope your back's already feeling better and that you found these 5 movements helpful. For even more information on avoiding back pain during pregnancy, check out the blog post on our website. That link will be below for you guys, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video.